Hey, and welcome back to RAWNESS with Mark podcast, the number one podcast in Africa. It is I, your host, Mark KUSIIMA. I hope you're all doing well and that the month of July has treated you well. On my side, the month hasn't been too bad. It definitely had its moments, and we keep on moving. So today we talk about pyramid schemes, commonly known as boards in Uganda. Now, you may be wondering, why the hell is Mark talking about pyramid schemes? I know, it's pretty random. Well, in this episode, I'm just going to be sharing on my thoughts on pyramid schemes, whether I think they're legit or scams, whether you should join one or not. But before we go on, this is a disclaimer. I want to make it clear that this is in no way professional financial advice. So if I in some way influence you to join and it doesn't end well for you, please don't come for me. I'm only sharing my thoughts on the subject. According to Google, a pyramid scheme is a fraudulent system of making money based on recruiting an ever-increasing number of investors. So pyramid schemes work in a way that a group of people, they could be 2 or more, but not more than like 10 guys, looking to scam people, convince their friends to invest in money in these top guys. Now, these new investors are meant to bring more people to invest so that they can get paid, and also these new guys get other people to invest, and the cycle goes on and on until the scheme is widely known. The popularity of a scheme depends on the convincing and advertising skills of the investors. This is when you start to see videos popping up of people flexing money trying to get into the scheme. Now, there's a lot of bias around these schemes, as many believe that they are scams, but this is false to some extent. Pyramid schemes are more profitable depending on how high you are in the scheme. If you join early in the start of the scheme, there's a high chance of you earning tremendously from them. It only becomes a scam when you join in the later stages, when the scheme is saturated. This happens when there are so many people at the bottom of the pyramid waiting to be paid and fewer people willing to join because of the bias. This is where most of the money is lost by the late investors. At this point, the very top guys who founded the scheme will decide to dissolve the scheme in order to prevent the unpaid investors from taking legal action. Usually, these people will almost disappear from the face of the earth. So if you're ever thinking of joining a pyramid scheme, there are a few things you should have to keep in mind. Make sure you get in at the start when the scheme has hype. Also, you should make sure that as you join, you will be able to convince others to join in order for you to get paid. It may seem like a quick get-rich-quick scheme route, but there's some hard work that goes into it. With all that I've said, you may be wondering to yourself, hey Mark, who are you to talk? What are you basing on? Blah, 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 blah. And I want to inform you that yes, I joined a pyramid scheme. Of recent, there's one that has been trending in Uganda called boards, whereby you invest 200k to get 2 million, and also one of 30k to get 240k. But I joined the 30k one. Now, what are my experiences with these pyramid schemes, you may ask? Well, first, I blame myself for not joining earlier. I joined later because, like most of you listening or watching this podcast of the episode, I was skeptical at first, but I finally gave in. I was persuaded, man, those guys are good at convincing. So when I joined this board, which is what they call them in UG, I was first at the bottom, and the 30k I invested paid the guy at the top. Then I moved to the middle, and then I'm now at the top, and I don't want to scare anyone, but I feel like I'm stuck there. Anyway, I am to blame, mainly because I'm lazy to look for other people to join, and also because I joined later when the hype had died, so it's harder to convince people to join, as either most of them have joined or the remaining ones are the group of people that are skeptical about these schemes and believe that they are scams. As I wrap up the episode, I want to give my final remarks on pyramid schemes. They are legit to a certain extent. Should you join? Maybe if you're willing to take the risk, but I don't encourage you to invest your life savings, but rather some small cash that you're willing to lose in case it doesn't work out for you. I insist that nothing said in this podcast episode was financial advice. Remember to subscribe to the podcast on all streaming platforms, rate us, leave a review and a comment, and also don't forget to follow me on my socials. They'll be linked down in the description. I hope you've learned something about pyramid schemes, and I hope to hear your feedback. I remain your host, Mark KUSIIMA of the RAWNESS with Mark podcast. Peace.